Season 5, Episode 5, with me, the Broken Bottle Boy, here on Twitch. Yes, it's back. I was away. I was in Northern Ireland for a week, but I've returned. And in the meantime, the cursed production process of the British media has not stopped. So, here we go. The show is on. I have the papers. We're going to look at the papers. Obviously, the big story today, or the story that is on all 4 of the papers we're looking at today is Sarah Harding, who passed away at the tragically young age of 39. She had cancer. So, all the papers have that. Oddly enough, bizarrely enough, it's the Sun that has the most tasteful photo on its front cover. Of course, nothing will be tasteful inside. It's the Sun. It is a place that taste forgot. Hey, Slinkamai, yes, did get my hair cut. It was becoming unwieldy. We're going to start with the Sun. We're going to move on to the Guardian, which I guess I'll do a speed run through whenever that. Never really stick to that particularly. Then the Times, and then the Daily Mail. Hey, Julie Prunes, how you doing? Hello, Neon Lady. Hello, Zoe Brings Bacon. What a good turnout for the start of the show. Hey, Friar Bentos. So it's a cracking start here. Right, so we're going to get into the Sun. Get into the sun. Burn up in the middle of the sun. We're going to start with the Sun, and then we'll progress through the rest of the papers. So, front page of the Sun. Apart from the continuing, how was Ireland? The Ireland was all right, thank you, C122, H122. It was pretty good. I did some swimming in the sea. I liked that. What else did I do? Had some soda files. Excellent. It was good. Thank you, Friar Bentos, for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Starting with the Sun front cover. Apart from their continuing giveaway for the Sea Life Centres, the only and main story on the front cover, front page of the Sun today is the death of Sarah Harding. Rest in peace, Sarah Harding. And the headline is a quote from her mother, so a pretty straight, direct, and not particularly grim in terms of content, in terms of their approach to the content cover from the Sun. Inside, pages 2 and 3 are, why am I so small? I just decided, because I didn't want to cover too much of this up. I can make it bigger. Here we go, look. There you go. Hey, anyway, hello, Stunning Fangirl, good to see you. So pages 2 and 3 are, of course, dedicated to more coverage of the death of Sarah Harding. The headline there is, it gave Sarah great strength and comfort to know she was loved. It's good that her mother's words are being put front and centre there. Clemmy Moody writes a little pull-out box. I have no time for Clemmy Moody. Pages 4 and 5 go with Party Girl to Cancer Campaigner, and more of that whole fought cancer narrative, which many cancer survivors and cancer sufferers really hate, and I do too. And I wish that the media would ditch this idea of battles that are won and lost. It's just really the wrong way to think about dealing with cancer. On page 7, which today is page 3 for the Sun's purposes, model Behati Prinsloo, don't know who she is wearing a purple bikini. She is apparently the wife of Maroon 5 singer Adam Levine. Use Your Weapon says Murdoch really does look like a scrotum with eyes. Accurate. On page 9, Orangey Anya pips Demi and co. Anya Taylor-Joy wore an orange dress to the Venice Film Festival. Also on that page, Marching Powder. 19 soldiers in Army's biggest drug scandal. 19 soldiers of the Yorkshire Regiment have apparently been have been found to have tested positive for cocaine. Yeah. Squaddies like cocaine. In great shock there. Mark Canosis, imagine growing up dreaming of being married to a pop star, but then it's Adam Levine. Depressing, yeah. Slinker Maya says, that framing of cancer was gross. My loved ones I lost cancer to didn't do so because they failed. It's because cancer's a bitch. Agreed. And yeah, C122, H122, yeah, a huge part of surviving cancer is luck. Use of weapons in there with a class, as Studying Fangirl says, a classic Mark Canosis style comment there. Right, moving on page 11, Charles Aid Cop Quiz Risk. Cash for Honours claim. This was all over the papers at the weekend. Both the Daily Mail and the Sunday Times had this. Turns out that Prince Charles is, well, quite corrupt. But of course, it's his aide that will get the blame for this, as they took money from a Saudi Arabian gentleman in return for making him a CBE, and also promising that eventually they'd make him a citizen and put him in the House of Lords. The Sun claims this is the second Annus Horribilis for the Queen. On page 13, David Walliams celebrated his 50th birthday. It's a shame that, really, isn't it? And on the bottom of that page, page 13, Bridger Dunn. Filming of Netflix hit Bridgerton has been halted indefinitely by COVID. Whoopie-doo. Chronotherm, Prince Charles taking money from the Saudis, but if we call him a Wahhabi extremist, we'll be laughed out of the room. Yeah, cha-ching, indeed. Mark Kenosis' description of Rupert Murdoch as a bus driver's summer bollock is also excellent. Trevor Kavanagh is a piece of shit. We don't bother with his column. On page 15, Who Dares Whinge? Alex and Ant Special Forces. Celeb SAS rivals complain of chats and favouritism. Singer Alexandra Burke found herself at the centre of a favouritism storm on Celebrity SAS Who Dares Wins. Her show co-stars and members of the TV crew have complained about Ant Middleton's relationship with the X Factor winner. A source said Ant appeared to take a shine to Alexandra and SAS, and it didn't go unnoticed. This just required as publicity for the show. Who gives a shit? Dave Williams living to 50. The world isn't fair. Julie Prunes, Walliams did hilarity in shoe. Absolutely not a chance. Right, on pages 16 and 17, it's part of the rehabilitation campaign for Jeremy Kyle. TV host on how his bride-to-be saved him after show tragedy. Vicky saw me at my lowest ebb, got me back on my feet, and still she is going to marry me. This is Jeremy Kyle, who claims he was cancelled over the fact that his appallingly exploitative and abusive show was taken off air after the suicide of a participant. Of course, this is, as the Samaritans remind us regularly, and as they should, you should not attribute someone taking their own life to any one particular reason. So, putting that to one side, let's just focus on the fact that the Jeremy Kyle show was a disgusting, exploitative show that increased many people's suffering, and that Jeremy Kyle is a sociopath. Right, moving on. On page 19, he's Ron of Our Own. More propaganda for Cristiano Ronaldo. No mention there of the many worrying accusations that surround him, including accusations of rape and sexual assault. This propaganda campaign also supported by Piers Morgan in the Mail on Sunday yesterday, who was on the front page of the Mail on Sunday with a piece about his great pal Ronaldo. Yes, Jeremy Kyle was a very low rent Jerry Springer, even worse than that, way nastier. Exactly, Ash Flaps McNulty. The Sun covers the fact that Sarah Vine said in her Mail on Sunday column yesterday that she was grateful that her soon-to-be ex-husband Michael Gove is not Matt Hancock. Let's see how long she sticks with that. I don't think that'll last all that long because of redacted. Page 23. Couple wed 30 years after playing Mary and Joseph in their school nativity play. Bit of a classic tabloid one there. Mark Kenosis is right. Judge once described the Jeremy Kyle show as human bear baiting. On page 25, phone firm Coke scandal sorted for ease and whiz. Call centre offers customer £40,000 drug deal. Mobile phone customer rang EE's call centre to get a new SIM card, was offered a £40,000 drug deal. The customer, 25, said within minutes of chatting to the sales assistant, the talk turned to drugs. He claimed he was offered several substances, including coke, cannabis, and ketamine. Well, if I was paid call centre wages, maybe I'd be tempted to do the same. On the front page of the Goals supplement, Belarus. This is Gareth Bale scoring against Belarus. Terrible headline. Use of weapons. I think Kyle should be fed to bears. Agree. Yeah, exactly. Jeremy Kyle show not staged like Springer and had none of the comic relief, says Mark Canosis. Anyone got any virus? Yeah, awful pun. More on Sarah Harding, another double-page spread of pictures of her. In the TV, they review Vigil. They recommend Silent Witness, Fever Pitch, The Rise of the Premier League, and Bin Laden, The Road to 9/11 tonight. Combine the three, it's about Bin Laden's transfer from ITV to BBC One. I don't know where I was going with that. In Fab Daily, the scourge of salmonella. It's a common cause of food poisoning that lurks in some very unlikely places. As 176 people fall sick after eating pork scratchings, we report on the scourge. Right, whatever. In Dear Deirdre today, someone writes about grief. Someone writes, was web sex a seedy setup? I had sex with a woman I met on the internet. Now I worry I may have been used as a sperm donor or set up for blackmail. She told me she was 40 but looked more like 50. I'm 42. I parked my car a little way off and walked up the lane to her house. On the approach I noticed baby clothes drying on a washing line. In the hallway there were men's trainers. On the ledge was a photo of a man holding a baby. Well, you could have just not done it then, couldn't you? Yeah, she said... Okay. Sister-in-law has turned their family against me. No trust after he saw my sexting. Tired of phony friends put-downs. Yeah. Yeah, it's a total Reader's Wives thing. It's a total Reader's Wives made-up thing. Right, in the letters today, £50 letter comes from Harry Hodge. And Harry Hodge says, Meghan and Harry just don't take the biscuit, they swallow the whole packet. The latest wheeze is to keep themselves in the limelight and their Netflix boss is happy is to pursue a private audience with the Queen, which would feature, no doubt, at a later date in their podcast bleat. I wouldn't mind if Her Majesty granted their wish, then stripped them of all their titles and patronages with a one-way ticket to Heathrow Airport. Yeah, she's not going to... The Queen isn't going to strip her grandson of British citizenship. Jesus fucking Christ. Is there any evidence making him think it's a blackmail thing or a sperm jacking? He says, during sex, she said she wanted me to climax. She repeated it a few times. Afterwards, she took the condom and left the bedroom, saying she had flushed it away. As I was dressing, I saw a man around 35 in the garden. He seemed familiar with the place. I think she saw the younger man because she then ran down the stairs. She opened the door and quickly closed it again. I don't know if the other man was there for sex or if he was her partner. There's no sign of him when I left. She's keen to meet again, but I've been thrown by the whole thing. Do I go or not? Could she be using me as a sperm donor? Is she planning to blackmail me? Maybe she's a sex addict. Jesus Christ. If it's a one-way ticket to Heathrow, it means they're coming back, mate. Yeah, Mark Canosis. Okay, I know what's happening here, and it's gross. All right, Mark, give us your theory. Give us your theory. I've got my theory. Adverts for the Dogs Trust. There's obviously loads of stuff about horse racing. Dare to Dream. It's on a knife edge. As Root Boys need 291 runs to win and take series lead in the cricket. That's her husband, and they're gonna do stuff with the condom. Yeah. Probably. It's like a sperm fetish. Yeah. I'd say it's a good shout. Well, it's a grim shout, but I'd say it's probably true. Do I go? I know. Imagine writing into the sun. Vomit. Yeah, well, welcome back to the show where Mark takes us to places we don't necessarily want to go. And on the back page of the Sun, sack of the net, heroes welcome and goal as Bukayo gets his Euros closure. I mean, Gareth Southgate said repeatedly that Bukayo Saka did not need closure over this. Chronotherm, love the boomer Gen X mentality of men simply cannot control their libidos. Mark Canosis, total cuckold thing. I mean, it's not even that bad, I guess, but it's not fair. It's not fair not to tell him. Yeah, find someone who's into it, you know. Southgate is a fraud and should be sacked, says use of weapons. All right, do tell us why. I quite like Southgate. Yes, Chronotherm, Silan Kamara is right that the notion that men can't control their libidos is also one of the foundations of rape culture. Mustard. Remember to spend your Herzogs. Press the button at the bottom of the chat window with the picture of Werner to do things. Use your weapons. Plays boring football with the best attacking talent of a generation. FA, yes, man. All right. I mean, I can see your position on that, but he is also, at this point, the most successful England manager since Alf Ramsey, and we'll see. I mean, look, he's going to do this next World Cup. If he goes one step better, amazing. But, you know, Chronotho had mustard on your pasta. That's a wild choice. Right. Let's do a speed round through The Guardian. I reckon 2 minutes 30 I can do The Guardian in. Posture check. Whoop. There we go. Has anyone mentioned the new haircut? Woof. Well, thank you, Gethin Wynne-Jones. Much appreciated. This was what my previous haircut looked like as well before I let it grow out. Right. Here we go. 2 minutes 30. Oh, hang on. I've got to change the friggin' thing first. I'm like, hold on a second. Mustard pasta and grease meat. It's like British style carbonara, grandma with wheels, etc. It's coming home. Right? Yeah. I mean, it won't, but I will. We'll win a couple of games, and I'll think, oh, maybe. Right. So 2 minutes 30 to do The Guardian. Here we go, and the timer is on. Front page of The Guardian, top left, party time at close of the Paralympics. Top right, Britain's youngest MP on battling PTSD and critics. It's a decent interview, has some problems with it though. Top of the shop story, PM faces mutiny over plan to raise taxes for social care. Same thing that's briefed into all the papers. Comments post to troops and Afghans. Tributes his Girls Lounge singer dies of cancer. Right, 2 minutes 5 left. Proof of life, Grey and Harbour seals highlight revitalisation of the Thames. Good picture of some seals. Cromwell out on top after Mantell compares him with Cummings. Yeah, Dominic Cummings is no Cromwell for various reasons. Thomas Cromwell, that is. Harmonious cacophony. Games end with stirring hopeful vision for the future. Refugees, I'm relieved to be here, but I lost a lot. This is Hassim Nouralam, who was director of the Kabul Attorney General's office, talking. Promise of help with soldiers after Afghan withdrawal. A guy who's written a book, which is a bit like that Horse and Boy book, but has a dragon and a panda, and had been working at the Samaritans and struggling to get success, has got a book deal. It seems quite cute, bless him. A Girl Aloud, it's so unfair. She was fun and loved music and dancing and life. Michael Cragg's appreciation of Sarah Harding is good. Actually, a pop fan. Channel 4 has opened a new HQ in Leeds. In the world news, Guinean soldiers claim to have seized power in a coup. In Hidden History, Bridgerton actor's film explores life of a black servant boy who became a duke in Italy. Ardern says we're trying to deport the Auckland attacker. Australians warned Delta wave has yet to reach peak. In the Journal, John Harris says Boris Johnson's incompetence is pulling the UK apart. Yeah, no shit. Nesreen Malik says for Afghans, cold comfort will follow a warm welcome. Again, she's right. Nadia Whittam is on the front of the life and arts section. Nothing that interesting in the letters. In the obituary, Sarah Harding, of course, they give her the headline, Girls Loud singer who later wrote a memoir about her rackety life as pop star and her cancer diagnosis. 26 seconds left. In the financial news, UK labour crisis could last up to 2 years. CBI warns up to 2 years. I think that's optimistic. More than 8,700 chain stores closed down across Britain in the first half of the year. Life on the news desk. Enthusiasm and determination make the magic happen. Nadia Kermani, on her role at the heart of the paper, has changed since Gene Stead's early days in the 1960s. And in the sport, smiles better. Lingard and Saka shine as England stride on. 1 second left. So that's a 2 minutes 29 run through The Guardian. The fastest so far, a new PB on The Guardian. I want to make a chart. How many Herzogs to make you buy another coin? I'll add it to the list. It'll be a lot. The curse of the coins has been horrendous. Mark Kanosis generally seems to have a heart in the right place, but her head is full of actual pig shit. Heart of gold, brains of shit, the Zoe Williams story. How many Herzogs to make you buy another coin? I said that. The hats. New PB. I know. That week off has really assisted me. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Times. I have a lot of opinions about the Times today, particularly about their fucking appalling Sarah Harding obit, but we will get to that in time. Let's get through. Let's start with this front page of the Times. Top of the shop. Obviously, they're promoting their football coverage. On the right hand side, My Wild Family. Amelia Fox on love and loyalty. They try and push her a bit on Lawrence Fox, and she is not biting. She just loves him anyway. And we don't really talk about politics. Bullshit. Also on that on this front page, Taliban on verge of crushing the last stronghold of resistance. This is Anthony Lloyd with the Taliban forces. C122, H122, times bad. Who knew? Slinkamaya, can we make you wear a hat made out of coins? If someone wants to make me a hat out of coins. Main story, PM to defy rebels over tax rise for social care. Same story we've seen on all of these. Again, product of loads of briefing and counter briefing. On the right hand side, Charles-backed citizenship for Saudi donors. Follow up on the story that the Sunday Times and the Mail on Sunday had yesterday. He's corrupt as fuck. No one wants to actually say that. Main picture, of course, is Sarah Harding, who passed away yesterday, age 39. Inside, on page 2, loophole lets people with mental illness keep guns. Babies and toddlers among 150 migrants in boat rush. More, basically, stenography for the Home Office from Matt Dathan, the Home Affairs editor. On page 3, Wren's helped to sink the Bismarck. The role of a secret women's unit in a key moments of the war is revealed at last. Women whose interception of German naval messages during the Second World War helped to sink the Bismarck have spoken for the first time about the mysterious Y service. There's a new book. Also on that page, Wolf Hall author Dame Hilary Mantel saying she's ashamed of Britain. That is a interview with La Repubblica that came out at the end of last week. All the other stories have covered that. But remember, the Monday papers like this one often pick up stories from the Sundays because they are stretched for stories that they can fit in. On page 5, more picking up of interviews from over the weekend. Jenny Murray said that she was aggrieved by the fact it told the Telegraph she was aggrieved by the fact that Emma Barnett earns more money for doing Woman's Hour than she did. The Times, Jake Cantor, the media correspondent, says dozens of bullies still work for the BBC after claims upheld. Let's look at how many bullies work at News Corp, some of whom are allowed to do bullying through bylines. By the way, there's absolutely a terrible system in the management at the BBC. It's very difficult to get rid of bad apples, and there are many bad apples in that orchard. But the Times has really got some gall to be acting like it's morally superior. On pages 6 and 7, the Prince, a royal honour, and Saudi tycoon, 1.5 million donation. More on this corruption. Mark Kenosis is aggrieved by the fact that Emma Barnett earns anything at all. Yes. On page 9, quiz show faces tough questions on sex. While university students are among the most vociferous champions of equality, their zeal is not reflected in the contestants fielded for television show University Challenge. Of 64 competitors who appeared in the current series on BBC Two, which began in July, only 17 have been women. The figure of 27% recalls Jeremy Paxman's remark in 2015 when he introduced the final that the promise of tougher questions than earlier rounds, fewer, tougher, perhaps, then why on earth are there no women left at this stage of the competition? Analysis by the Times shows that figures have improved since his comment, but only slightly. The proportion of female contestants so far this series, at the 51st since University Challenge was first broadcast on ITV in 1962, is equal to the record of 27% in the series that began in 2018. In most other years in the past decade, the figure has hovered around 20%, with the exception of a low point in 2011 when only 15% of contestants were women. So, yeah, this... universities that routinely field all male teams include St Andrews and Fife, which has entered 5 men-only teams since 2011. Durham, Imperial and York have entered 4 such teams. Bath and Manchester, UCL, Edinburgh and Exeter have fielded 3. Majority female teams are a rarity, with 1 so far in the 2021 series from Peterhouse, Cambridge. There have been none since 2017 and sorry, I've got itchy nose. Fucking hell. Between 2017 and 2020. Since 2011, there have been 2 all-female teams from Queen Mary, University of London, and Newnham College, Cambridge, although Newnham is a women's-only college. Chronotherm says, cannot believe that the neoliberal university isn't reflective of a radical student body. Yeah, Giles Corran should have his brain stolen by a... Redacted, says Use of Weapons. Yeah, Giles Corran getting his Toyota Hilux technical stolen. Proceeds of crime act should be taken away as well, yes. Anyway, Lion of Fuck, I don't give a shit about that. Foreign money needed to bolster failing economy in Afghanistan. Well, that'll be Chinese money. University challenge the highest form of liberalism, and I will not expand on that, says use of weapons. On page 13, eating disorders are no laughing matter, but jokes can help is the story. Comedy for Coping, funded by the British Academy, proposes a 6-week online course to teach people who have suffered eating disorders how to build confidence, communication, and connection with others. In theory, that sounds like a bad idea. Bad news, Giles Corrin owns a car. Millions of migraine sufferers let down by a broken system. That comment from C122H122, by the way. I'll prove Geronimo was clear of tuberculosis, says the alpaca owner, who will not go away. On pages 14 and 15, vaccine passports needed to avoid another lockdown. There's gonna be another lockdown. There will be another lockdown. Guarantee you. 1,500 deaths a day as the southern states of the US are hit by the Delta variant. On page 17, statue goes into storage after slavery rethink. A figurehead of George III celebrating the outcome of the Battle of Waterloo has been removed from the National Maritime Museum after confusion over its meaning and accusations of racist imagery. The mahogany carving shows the king in the pose of a Roman emperor wearing a laurel wreath to symbolise triumph, while 2 African men beneath him clasp their hands. It emerged yesterday that staff at the museum removed the piece last year after complaints from visitors and employees. Statement put in its place read, for many visitors and staff, its imagery of a powerful white king with 2 subservient black men is hurtful reinforcement of enduring racial stereotypes. Monarchs are typically portrayed as a dominant figure, with others shown in secondary and more deferential stance. However, this figurehead is often seen as celebrating the role of white people in ending slavery. Such images overshadow the determined actions and sacrifices of black people to achieve this goal. Yep, seems reasonable to me. But of course, Robert Toombs, the preeminent racist historian, said, it's astonishing that the museum seemed ashamed to have George III on display, given that he was on the throne when the slave trade was abolished. Fuck you. Suits were fit for the throne, and as Stones turned out that Charlie Watt bought up a job lot of Edward the Eighth's suits from Sotheby's in Paris after Edward VIII, a.k.a. the Duke of Windsor, a.k.a. Hitler fan, died, and they sold them. 1996, Watts was pictured in a dark check suit of Edward, who became the Duke of Windsor after he abdicated in 1936. A spokesman confirmed that the items were bought at auction. He loved a well-made Savile Row suit. His inspiration was classic suits, the same for anyone growing up in the 40s, both kings and modernists from Wembley. Right. Yes, the alpaca was put down last week. Virtual brains give surgeons a practice run. An artificial intelligence system designed to make brain surgery safer for patients, less stressful for surgeons, saved many thousands of pounds, been used by the NHS for the first time. Sounds good. Last night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright film gets 1 star from the Times. It got 4 stars in the Mail. God knows. Apparently predicted grades damage mental health of pupils is a story here. That's according to the new president of the Girls' Schools Association, who said that negotiating predicted grades damaged the mental health of pupils, who put pressure on teachers to be optimistic in university applications, but then had to live up to expectations. She is the head of Benenden's Girls' Boarding School. See, when a private school says this shit, though, I think I'm suspicious, because it's just another opportunity for them to try and screw the system to their advantage. Virtual brains sound sound ominous. It reminds me of like the Demon Headmaster. How your digitally cloned face could be your fortune. This will be bullshit. People around the world could soon find their faces are their fortune, but they won't know until the paychecks arrive. Hour One, a startup technology company, is allowing people to rent out their faces and facial features to be used in thousands of videos saying anything in any language. That seems like that can only go terribly wrong. 400 million in the bank, but National Trust cuts jobs. This is Dominic Kennedy, who has been attacking the National Trust in print for a long time. So we'll take that with enough salt to explode your heart. In the comments section, Claire Fogus, who, as we recall, really dislikes GRT people, says we need a GP system for our impatient times. So basically, she thinks GPs aren't up to snuff, basically. Mark Slingermeyer says, as someone who very briefly attended a girls' school, I can assure you everything about them is sinister as hell. The Girls' School Association sounds sinister as hell, says Mark Kenosis. Yeah, I shouldn't go on holiday. It's not a good idea, is it? Emma Duncan does a note, but it's very boring. Libby Purvis does a thing about working from work, about how we should all get back into the office. Of course, this coming from someone who has not worked in an office in any kind of full-time manner for a long time. I can't remember. So anyway, my commands don't work anymore. But anyway, today the newsletter is about people for the newspapers writing effectively in the interests of commercial landlords. So there you go, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. Mark knows it's hard to hear Libby Purvis' name without instinctively trying to turn the radio off. Yeah. Right, moving on. Okay, so today's birthdays. Jason Atherton, the chef who runs a portfolio of Michelin-starred restaurants, is 50. Bruce Arnold, the biographer of Margaret Thatcher, is 85. Shirley Ballas, the dancer, coach, and head judge on Strictly Come Dancing, is 61. Christopher Brookmyre, the author, novelist, and president of the Humanist Society of Scotland until 2015, is 53. Sir Simon Burns, the Conservative MP for Chelmsford until 2017, is 69. Not nice. Idris Elba, the actor, is 49. Macy Gray is 54. Naomi Harris is 45. Tim Henman is 47. Matthew Horn is 43. Sophie Jeanine, the chief conductor of BBC Singers and mezzo-soprano, is 45. Roger Knight, secretary and chief executive of the Marylebone Cricket Club until 2006, is 75. Roger Law, the co-creator of Spitting Image, is 80. Emily Maitlis, the journalist and broadcaster, is 51. Dame Monica Mason is 80. She's the director of the Royal Ballet until 2012. Pippa Matthews, formerly Middleton, sister of the Duchess of Cambridge, is 38. You should not get a birthday mention for that. Sir Colin McCall, the head of MI6 until 1994, is 89. The Most Reverend Sir David Moxon, Archbishop of Canterbury's representative to the Holy See, is 70. William Porterfield, the cricketer, Ireland's first Test captain until 2019, is 37. Tom Ransley, the rower, the Olympic gold medalist in the 2016 men's Coxed 8. Sounds like specialist porn always. Is 36. Sir Richard J. Roberts, biochemist and molecular biologist, won the Nobel Prize in 1993, is 78. Greg Ruzetsky, the tennis player, British #1 until 2006, is 48. Sir Iqbal Sakrani, the Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain until 2006, and the Chairman of Muslim Aid until 2012, is 70. John Salvan, the UK Executive Director of Greenpeace, is 67. Alice Sebold, the novelist, is 58. Joe Stevens, Labour MP for Cardiff Central and the Shadow Digital Culture, Media and Sports Secretary, is 55. Sir Norman Stoller, the businessman and founder of the Stoller Charitable Trust, is 87. Dayan Sujit, the Director Emeritus of the Design Museum until 2020, is 69. Nice. And Roger Waters of Pink Floyd is 78. Says, I've got a dump truck ass. Can I get a happy birthday in the Times? Use your weapons. Happy birthday to Tim. Come on, Tim Henman, who can only achieve orgasm when people cheer him from a hill. Yes. One here that, sadly, Sinan is not in the chat today, but in the leader column, anti-social media, the solution to online abuse lies in encouraging users to verify their identity. Based on what we see Times columnists write, based on what Times columnists write on a weekly, daily basis, we know that you don't need, the online anonymity is like, real names are not a thing that stops people saying horrendous shit, nor does Facebook. Anyway, Sinner has a really good video about this. Hopefully he'll drop the link in the chat. It's very good. Yeah, use your weapons. Facebook is full of racists using their own names. And it's a dumb idea from and also we know why they want to do it. It's to suppress political speech. On the front page of the Times too, my tragic sister, Richard Carpenter, on the genius of his soulmate Karen. Do watch SK's video after the show. It is very good. Chronotherm, Times full of racists using their own names. Yeah, Rod Liddle. Have you seen the shit Rod Liddle says under his own name? And by the way, if you haven't read the Rod Liddle newsletter edition from yesterday, it is... I mean, I wrote it, but I would say it's worth reading. In the world news, Merkel's party rages as poll ratings sink. Shark kills surfer who shouted for help in Australia. Well, you know. In India, social media fasting contest aims to cure Jane's addiction. Nice attempt at a pun there. Thank you, Jordan DH. It is a new haircut, and yeah, it's just nicer because it was... the old haircut was annoying me. On page 10, Assad and Biden joined forces to end Beirut blackouts. This is a claim from Richard Spencer, reporting from Lebanon. In Japan, Japan's kingmaker backs right-winger as first female MP. Fans of the mullet, the resilient haircut of the 80s, of a new hero after a Belgian man's locks were judged best in Europe. Nicholas van der Kellen, above, a lorry driver, has kept his style for 20 years. He beat 100 people vying for the title in Chenier's Limousin. Gauthier Istin of France, the last winner, said, I put a few hairs in the trophy. I hope he will do the same. There we go. There is the champion winning mullet. What's shouting help going to do? Does the shark understand English? This is a question. What did it say? A surfer who shouted for help during a shark attack died after being pulled out of the water by beachgoers. The man lost an arm in the attack north of Sydney yesterday and died shortly after ambulance services arrived. Last year was the deadliest since 1929 for shark attacks in Australia, with 8 people killed. Could it be that we're fucking up the ecosystems, which is forcing sharks further inland? It could be. It could be. Or it could just be a reason to just, write a shit scare story in the paper. Barbados is apparently ready to oust the Queen. Good work, Barbados. When Dame Sandra Mason wakes up on December 1st in the 18th century government house in Bridgetown, she might be forgiven for feeling that nothing has changed. But the previous day, Barbados will have become a republic and she will be president. The Governor-General was nominated for the position last week by Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister, a part of the island's preparations to bid farewell to the Queen as its head of state. Mason, 72, a former High Court judge, will serve 4 years in the largely ceremonial role. Absolutely well done, Barbados. The sharks are inland. You know what I mean? Coming closer to land, Friar Bentos. Give him time, though. Use of Weapons says, always happy to see Australians killed by sharks because I hate Australia. Okay. You're in with the hard takes today, there, Mark. Further inland is very funny. You're just going to end up seeing sharks in Northampton. Yes, further near land. Specialist funds, Mark Littlewood of the IEA. Who funds you, Mark? Who funds you, motherfucker? Says the flexible job market is leaving politicians and trade unions behind. Flexible job market. Fuck off. I feel obliged to share my favourite trivia. Sharks and species are older than trees. Spotted a shark in Nottingham. Is climate change to blame? I wish. Just a shark trundling along in like a Pope-mobile full of water. Anyway. This is what happens when you just fucking talk to a camera. Right. Now we reach the Sarah Harding obituary. Now, I will warn you here, I'm going to get really... I don't get angry a lot, right? But I'm going to get really fucking angry about this one. So... there are lines in this Sarah Harding obituary from the Times that made me so angry last night, and I'm still angry now. Let's start with the way they describe her: pop singer, model, and former Pizza Hut waitress. How many people? How often do people usually have their like first jobs mentioned when they've come to fame as something else, right? They fucking don't, right? Now, moving on. The first line of the whole fucking obit is Sarah Harding ticked all the boxes that have come to define a certain type of modern British celebrity, right? And then they just, and they describe her flickering acting career. Her tattoo is the second spot in the mention of her tattoo is the second paragraph. And then here's the bit that really drives me insane. The perfect cynics might argue that her talent was unexceptional and her celebrity was based more on style than substance. Yet such a judgment would be harsh, and the outpouring of sympathy that greeted the news of her illness was evidence of the esteem in which she was held by fans. Cynics would say that, right? If cynics would say it, how about you keep it the fuck out of the obituary? It's to be a pop star, to perform on big stages, to perform pop songs, and to do all the promotional stuff, to have the charisma to come across in interviews, to get fans, because people see you and think, oh, I see that this woman, I empathise with this woman. This woman's a great performer. She was a really good pop performer, and she also helped write some of the songs eventually, which is often the case now because you need to get your name on some of the writing credits to make a better amount of money. But whatever. Moving on. So it rightly mentions that 4 of Girls Aloud singles went number 1, 6 platinum albums. By the time they broke up, they'd sold 8 million records, right? Highest earning reality TV stars, having amassed a collective fortune of more than 30 million quid. But we still mention that she worked in fucking Pizza Hut. And not that there's anything wrong with working in Pizza Hut, but can you imagine putting that in the obit of any other celeb? Now here, it gets the worst. Here's the worst bit. Although their style was unashamedly formulaic pop, that's not true. Girls Aloud worked with Xenomania, the production outfit, right? And they produced some of the best pop songs of that era. A run of classic bangers, right? And not only do you need good production, but you need a band that can translate that. Because Xenomania had other songs that just didn't do as well, because Girls Aloud had charisma. They were interesting, they were a fun, interesting, talented set of performers. Right, so it continues. Although their style was unashamedly formulaic pop, the group had surprisingly heavyweight fans in the rock genre, including U2's Bono and Coldplay's Chris Martin, who called them the ultimate form of life. It helped that several of their hits were smartly chosen covers of well-known rock songs. Their biggest hits were not the covers, right? The covers, and also their cover of Jump is a fucking banger. But anyway, Sound of the Underground exactly goes hard. The panning of the guitar at the opening of that is amazing. Was an excellent debut single. I promise, there's so many. I mean, some of the album tracks are even better than the singles. Anyway, who gives a fuck if Bono and Chris Martin like them? You want to look at the later U2 albums or most Coldplay albums, and you see formulaic pop, right? If you want to talk about that, Coldplay albums are formulaic pop. It's just that they're made by white guys with guitars, ergo they must be much worthier than this, manufactured band of women. Well, it's just fucking horseshit. This stuff continues. It's all sorts of grim stuff in here. They put a lot of focus on and exactly, Jordan DH. What did they leave out of John Kay's obituary? Well, it was the murder of his wife. Right, so anyway, they put a lot of emphasis on her parents' marriage breakdown. Call her acting career undistinguished. She was just trying to make money. She's just trying to make a living. Chris Martin's also privately educated, exactly. Mark Gnosis, do you know what else Bono likes? Having sexual intercourse with redacted. Anyway, R.I.P. Sarah Harding. You had more talent than whatever fucker wrote this obit, who, of course, obits are on bylines, so we can't even know who did this. Probably multiple people. Elsewhere in the obits, Lady Clarissa Collin, fast-driving countrywoman and High Sheriff of North Yorkshire. Don't know what her first job was because she's rich, so we're not going to mention that. And Professor Sir Eric Ashe, Rector of Imperial College, an electrical engineer whose research could at one time be found in almost every TV on the planet. Again, what was his childhood job? What was his teenage job? Did he work in a fucking Toby carvery? We'll never know. Use of weapons. People voted for the Nazis and like Coldplay. You can never trust. You can't trust Coldplay. Not my words. The words of Use of Weapons, adapted from Superhands. Anyway, fuck the Times for this. I know I say this all the time, right? Fuck the Times. In the sport, back page of the Sport. England chase history. Roots team believe they can make record 368 to win after Hamid and Burns get them off to a fine start. Saka goal can bring closure. Again, he didn't need any fucking closure. And Brazil tries to deport Premier League's Argentina stars mid-game. As well, Brazil might, since they faked it. Right, so anyway, that faked their way in. Coldplay's named after necrophilia. Mark Kenosis continues, they were sold a lemon that had been in a corpse's arse. Use of weapons, free the villa too. Right, that's the Times. Fucking all the 60 minus 69s. So negative nice that it is an absolute zero negative nice. The lowest negative nice possible. Right, anyway, that's it. Now, we move on to the Daily Mail. I'm going to do the roll call, then I'll move on to the Daily Mail. Someone, minus $1 billion from C122, H122. Mustard. Well, use your weapons. I'm still annoyed that you took Buendia from us, but there you go. The Neon Lady. In closing, fuck the Times. Slinkermeyer, minus all the negative nices. Thank you, Fry Bentos, for redeeming Hydrate. I do need that. Okay, I'm Broken Bottle Boy. You could, of course, follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. Please do. If you like this show, please consider throwing some coins into the paper fund, which is paypal.me/conquest of the useless. I set up commands in the chatbot, but they have broken since the last time I streamed, so I'm just gonna type that in manually, like I'm some kind of Stone Age streamer. There we go. Use your weapon says, I simply wish the writer of that obit happy get mustard in their pee-pee holes. Single Incommire, fuck the Times with something hard and sandpapery. Everybody loves Raymondo says, Toffee Nose wank rag minus $1 million. Yes, that's what it is. That's what the command is. No. It still works. Yes. And if you want to check out the newsletter, there you go. Right, just getting down through the roll call, which I distracted myself out of. In the mod squad today is SK the Crusader. Absolutely peachy run of videos and streams from him recently. Do get involved. If you're not following him here, why not? If you're not subscribed to his YouTube, why not? In the chat today, also, Ash Flats McNulty, hello. Billy Wilder, C122, H122, thanks for your contributions, Commander Root. Arabs is here. Everybody loves Raymondo, one of my favourite names to say in this. Fry Bentos, thank you for being here, and thank you for resubscribing. Gethin Win Jones, thank you for your haircut praise, appreciated. Hosso0312 is here. Hello, happy. It's a Curran Fine. Hello. Jordan DH. Good to see you. Hope you are well. Julie Prunes, thank you for joining us. Chronotherm, always good to see you. Mark Kenosis, an absolute stalwart of the chat. Rimastino is here. Hello. Slinkermeyer. I've had a week off, so it's time for another reminder. Get to Instagram. Look at Slinker's work. It's excellent. She does incredible photography. Snur, good to see you. Spike Trap Claire, hello. Stream Elements is a bot. Whatever. Studying Fangirl, another excellent streamer. Do make sure you're subscribed to her here. The Neon Lady, thank you for joining us. The Royal Flush, Use of Weapons, VNK, and Zoe Brings Bacon. Often last, but never least. Thank you all for joining me on my first show back after the Northern Ireland trip. Mark Kenosis can't read that comment, but I like it. A pleasure, Slinker. I really do. It's always. I always love seeing your photography in my Instagram feed. Okay, finally we come to the Daily Mail. Right, front page of the Daily Mail. They're still following up on this Prince Charles story. Royal cash for favour storm. So will Charles finally axe closest aid? Well, the guy's had to retire twice before for various forms of corruption, including selling royal gifts. So I guess no. Main story, Cabinet revolt on 10 billion tax raid. The same story we've seen elsewhere. And Girls Aloud star Sarah dead at 39 from cancer. A pretty straight and respectable headline from the Mail there. On page 3 of the Daily Mail, Dreamy Anya, superb in the ingenious psycho horror last night in Soho. 1 star from the Times, 4 star from the Daily Mail. Elsewhere, on page 4, bonfire of pledges as triple lock faces axe. Esther McVeigh says national insurance's tax on work, which also hits the poorest hardest. Yeah, well, Esther McVeigh is right on that, but Esther McVeigh also absolutely hoons the freebies down and is and expenses claims everything. Former Chancellor Philip Hammond, himself a piece of shit while in government, says breaking a manifesto commitment should cause the government significant damage. You did it a lot when you were in government, son. On page 5, Charles is urged to cut ties with aid in cash for knighthood storm. Or, an alternative way of looking at it, Charles is urged to use aid as scapegoat in cash for knighthood storm. On pages 6 and 7, is this a scandal too far for the man Charles can't do without? Again, putting the blame on the aide rather than Prince Charles, who, like his brother Andrew, is corrupt. Sue me. Go on. On page 8, generals open fire on PM over Afghanistan. On page 9, freeze your eggs for 55 years. Fertility revolution is new law will end 10-year limit on storage and will cover embryos and sperm too. All right. On page 13, Flying High with Di crowns little princes. Pictures of Elizabeth Debicki playing Princess Di and the boys playing William and Harry. Expect the Mail to get plenty out of that new season when that finally airs. Pupils can overrule parents on jabs. This is fucking insane to me that people think this is surprising. There's something called Gillick competency, which means that if a child above a certain age can show that they are competent, they understand the risks and benefits of a medical treatment, they can consent to that medical treatment without the permission of their parent. But people are acting like it's incredibly shocking that teenagers of 15 would be able to consent to having a jab, show Gillick competence and consent to having a jab without their parents' permission. It's a well-established medical principle and legal principle and sensible one. John D.H. corruption, nonsense, dressing a Nazi, all fine. Marrying a black woman, an excommunicable offence. Gotta love the monarchy. I long for a republic. On page 16, as Boris versus Rishi showdown is inevitable, but social care won't be the trigger, says the most zombie-looking motherfucker in the British press, Stephen Glover. On page 17, as Britain is crippled by a dearth of HGV drivers, leading to a shortage of everything from Yorkshire puddings to McDonald's milkshakes. Again, it's not the fucking milkshakes. It was a shortage of milk. You fucks. Our intrepid writer gets behind the wheel of a 41-ton monster, Queen of the Road. So this is Antonia Hoyle trying her hand at being a lorry driver by going to a lorry driver training facility. One of the main things is that loads of foreign lorry drivers that used to live and work here have left the country, and B, the cost of training to be a lorry driver is extremely expensive. Milk. They take the milk from the cows in the south. On page 19, and mother came too. Williams takes mum to his 50th birthday bash. He's so creepy. Asked by Saga magazine about US President Joe Biden taking office at 78, Keir Starmer, a mere 59, quit. I'm not willing to wait that long. Never gonna happen, Keith. Moving on page 20. Free to carry on working. Chiropractor who broke patient's neck, then told 999 call handler she thought he'd had a stroke. Oh, Jesus. If that's true. I long for a United Republic and for a British Republic. Agreed. Businesses used to pay for that training. They used to pay drivers better. Yeah, exactly. David Williams has got sex scandal written all over his toothy face. There have been a few and they haven't stuck. On pages 22 and 23, who wants to stream a millionaire? Streaming giants like Netflix and Amazon take over film and TV. A-listers cashing in, from Phoebe Waller-Bridge's £14.5 million deal to Harry and Meghan's $75 million. They put quotes around it. Who's making a mint? Lots of people. They used to when movie studios were paying too. More propaganda for Cristiano Ronaldo on page 25. More slagging off of the National Trust on that page. More coverage of the Emma Barnett Jenny Murray, Barney on page 27. And Robert Peston says, every day I keep my job as a white middle-class man is a bonus, says Robert Peston. Robert Peston's father was elevated to become a baron. He went to Oxford. He is not white. He's not middle class. Fuck me. Use of Weapons wouldn't take $1 million deal for Netflix, but would simply have lunch with Jay-Z. Slinker David Williams has got allegations up the wazoo, but no one cares. Yeah, it'll crack eventually, but only when he displeases someone with the power to push them through the papers. Robert Peston, twat, says C122H122. Chronotherm, every day you keep your job as the most wallet-inspected man in politics is a fucking miracle, Robert. Mark Canosis, I can think of other factors that mean Peston is lucky to keep his job. Yes. Right, on this day, September the 6th, 2021, on this day, in 1974, the Daily Mail wrote, children will have their own television news bulletins 4 times a week. The BBC announced yesterday. John Craven's news round began as a twice-weekly experiment. Now it will run for 10 minutes every afternoon from Monday to Thursday, starting next week. Imagine that. On this day in 1997, September 1997, the Daily Mail wrote, the Queen came face to face with the nation's tears yesterday for the first time and apologised for staying at Balmoral so long. 6 days after Diana's death, she finally put herself among her people. It was potentially one of the most difficult days of her reign, but in the space of a few minutes, with the Duke of Edinburgh at her side, she lifted the cloud of tension which has hung over the thousands who came to London to pay their respects. Fuck off. Happy birthday to... Yeah, they give a happy birthday to Pippa Matthews, a.k.a. Pippa Middleton, who gives a fuck, and also to Idris Elba, who is 49. Also born on this day, Norman Joseph Woodland, born 1921, died 2012. He's a US engineer who co-invented the barcode with a university classmate. It was 22 years before the codes appeared in the shop because the laser technology to read them did not exist. First barcoded product that went through a checkout was a packet of chewing gum in 1974. Also born on this day, Dolores O'Riordan, born 1971, died 2018. The Irish lead singer of the Cranberries, sold 40 million albums in 2012. She said, anyone who gets famous so quickly and so young, you're bound to be a bit of a casualty in some fashion. Yeah, she drowned in a bath due to alcohol intoxication. Very sad. On September 6th, in 1901, US President William McKinley was shot by a 28-year-old anarchist at an exhibition. He died 8 days later. And in 1986, the BBC's Casualty was first broadcast. It's now the longest-running primetime medical drama in the world. Quote of the day comes from Frank Sinatra, who said, I feel sorry for people who don't drink. When they wake up in the morning, that's as good as they're going to feel all day. And joke of the day is... I've already had a warning for stealing kitchen supplies, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. Surely would you love his cartoons reprised with a fresh twist? Bound to. Use of Weapons in with the claim that Prince Philip killed Diana in a white Fiat with Geronimo the alpaca riding shotgun. And who am I to criticise? News round was an MI5 psyop, claims use of Weapons. A lot of hot takes coming out of you today. John DH made a crudely cropped, transparent version of Peston in that pink suit if anyone needs it. Yes, I do. Send it my way. Don't be silly, sausages. Kennel Club brings trend of Dachshunds with low toms to heel. Dachshunds should not be bred with exaggerated features to make them look cute, new guidance states. No dog should be. Fuck the Kennel Club. On pages 30 and 31, snobbish, sexist, and total shits. That's Miriam Margolis's withering verdict on Monty Python stars John Cleese and Graham Chapman, as revealed in this rollicking new extract from her brilliant new memoir. She says of Glenda Jackson, a star actress with little patience and no humility. Well, imagine how a woman like that would produce Dan Hodges. On Rowan Atkinson, she calls him nervous, self-critical, frenzied, but never nasty. On Princess Margaret, she calls her tiny, cool, and very wary of impertinence. Princess Margaret was a piece of shit too. And on herself, she says neither decorative nor bedworthy, but always a show-off. She said her best kiss was with Bob Monkhouse. And she played a character called Sexy Sonia on a porn tape sold by Ann Summers in the 70s. Yeah, thank you, Jordan. Nice one. Have any Pythons been funny in 30 years? No, but I mean, Michael Palin seems bearable. The Kennel Club should be inbred into extinction, says Lincoln Meyer. Oh, yeah, and Miriam Margolis appeared on University Challenge. In 1963, she was part of the team representing Newnham in the debut series of University Challenge. When she couldn't deliver an answer that was on the tip of her tongue, she swore loudly and we lost the point. It was bleeped out of the actual transmission, but my claim is still staked to be the first person ever to swear on national TV. Certainly the first woman to do so. I met Bamber Gascoigne again last year, and he acknowledged that my fuck it was resounding in his memory for almost 60 years. John Yates, we can never message each other again because it looks funny with Pesto sitting there. Or we can, but every time we message each other, we then have to send another Peston to close the loop. On page 35, police call off latest search and hunt for missing Claudia, so that was a big waste of time and a false lead, it seems. In the Inspire section, How to Master Medal Winning and Motherhood by Stara Story, who last week became Britain's greatest Paralympian ever. It's a pretty cool picture of her. On the front page of The Verdict, their football thing, 1,022 days since he last scored for England. Lingard bags double in Andorra rout. Jesse is back. A.G. Pritchard says the one lesson he's learned from life is it's okay to defy parents. It'll take you that long. Dr. Max can go fuck himself. Which 5 people made you the person you are? Best-selling author Celia Ahern's new novel explores the idea with the sum of the people we spent most time with. Here, 4 writers celebrate the inspiring individuals who shaped their lives. Janet Ellis says the friend who rescues her from herself. Libby Purvis says a nun who taught her frivolity is not a sin. Safraz Mansour says an uncle who funded the IVF treatment that led to his wife Bridget and he having 2 children. And Jane Gordon says her family. So there we go. Whatever. On page 50, she thought it was something that only happened to the elderly. Then at 50, Annabelle inexplicably had a fall and couldn't walk for weeks, changing her attitude to her body forever. I loathe my legs. Now they seem like miracles. After years researching I Need to Keep Up the Joneses, Will Storr came to one conclusion. Save your money because you never can. Why a bag won't buy you status. Oh, who gives a fuck off? I don't even know what that means. They're trying to sell 2 embroidered tops to you for £60. £30 a top for that? Get out. Those tops available in rose, light blue, sand, emerald, yellow and peach. Hannah Betts' icon of the week is Anna Wintour. I mean, if you like bullies. On page 54, Silent Witness, 9 p.m, BBC One is the pick of the day. Also recommended Bin Laden, The Road to 9/11, football documentary, Fever Pitch, The Rise of the Premier League, and The Great Home Giveaway on Channel 4. Film choices today, Murder on the Island, Martha's Vineyard Mysteries at 2:15. That's on in 10 minutes. And in the TV reviews, Love Your Weekend, 3 stars. Vigil gets 2 stars. In the cartoons today, Garfield is wearing sunglasses and looking out of the window. Chloe is sat down drinking and talking to her friend about drinking. And Fred Bassett hears the microwave ping and runs to get some food. No poems today, but the straight-to-the-point letters. Be Best of High Wycombe says, the Education Secretary says classes may need to be outside this winter. I hope he leads by example. Bob Hope and Bin Laden classic film. Chloe is 5 for 5 on drinking and 3 of 5 on talking about men. Yeah. Extinction Rebellion's bullying tactics and childish actions will not make a jot of difference to anyone's views on global warming. Name and address supplied. Jay Cooper of Milton Keynes says, I wouldn't drink from a plastic cup for all the tea in China. Rex Bourne sounds like the lead of a bad airport thriller says, Jennifer Lopez forgot to remove the price tag from a designer cape, but I bet she remembered to keep the receipt. B. Mitchell says, Dolce & Gabbana gowns are not stunning, they're just loud frou-frou. Right, well, no one's going to make you wear one, are they? And Miss T. Newman of Gloucester says, it's amazing that experts can tell us the weather on Mars, but can't get the local weather forecast right. Well, there's reasons for that, you Chronotherm, name and address supplies. The address is always Tufton Street. Yeah, Jordan DH, perfect Milton Keynes accent. I don't give a fuck. I just make them up, don't I? Godspeed, Fred, says Mark Knows. Hey, Red Tick Seed, how you doing? Go get that food, Fred. Yeah, Fred. We love Fred. This is a pro-Fred stream. The Neon Lady, why are home counties dads judging modern fashion? Because they read the Daily Mail. Today's recipe is lemon and greens pesto pasta. I mean, it looks fine, but really it's a basic bitch recipe, that, isn't it? They're also trying to sell you horrible foods, horrible fashions. One of those phones for people who need simple phones. They're trying to get you to do equity release, always trying to do that. Trying to sell you chairs that tip you out of it. Trying to get you to pay £11.98 for 300 bulbs. And in the sport, Saka's many happy returns and Brazilian fast match abandoned in bid to deport Premier League stars. India coach Shastri has COVID after night out. That is the Daily Mail, and that is our final paper for the day. For me, it's a classic double negative, nice minus 69, but give me your scores. Thank you so much for joining me today on the return of the show. If you have enjoyed the show, do please consider chucking some coins in the newspaper fund. Recently, it's been a pretty dead time in the newspaper fund, but it really does help. It's another way to keep the show going. Also, if you've got Amazon Prime, subscribe here. Just subscribe for the show or gift someone a sub or whatever. That always helps. And also, if you are not yet a subscriber to the newspaper, to the newsletter, get involved. You can subscribe for free, and if you enjoy it, upgrade and you get some extra stuff. Did that work? Did that work? It did not. Oh, no, it did. Did it? Oh, I know why that didn't work. Because I typed 3 T's. Okay. Did it do it this time? What's going on? Oh, there we go. Right. So, thank you for joining me for this, Season 5, Episode 5. We'll be back tomorrow with Episode 6 of the Paper Thing, Season 5. Thank you, Gethin Wyn Jones, for subscribing. That is really appreciated. If you're watching this on YouTube, do like, subscribe, and share. All of that stuff. It'd be really good. Have I forgotten Twitch? Yeah, it's gone. No, it's grand. Thank you, Zoe Brings Bacon, and thank you for the scores. Slunkermeyer in with the triple negative. Nice. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the next episode in this cursed and Sisyphean task that I've set myself. Bye-bye.